ignore all this stuff back here. Welcome to the show. We are beautiful. It's beautiful today. It's about to be a big snowstorm here in the south, apparently. That's the way we like it. Snowing when it should not even be Christmas. The screen on my right here, I'm currently watching the Oklahoma and South Carolina game in college basketball. I'm thinking about doing college basketball stuff, so that's going to go over the season. So that way we have some stuff to talk about. But we enter off-season mode. We'll talk about all that in a minute. So, the national championship was completely chaotic. Exactly those. It's the exact way the season has been all day long, all season long. Indiana final score. Indiana Miami final score 27-23. I mean 20. Wait, is it 20? Sorry, set 27-21. What a game! 27-21. Indiana completes the gauntlet, goes 16-0, a perfect season, and also has a Heisman. And broke basically became just in 1 year basically became what Alabama was throughout the span of the SEC's dominant run. We're not going to talk about that. Today's show, we have my way too early rankings since I'm going to follow the train bus on this. Let's go over this. So we have some stats here that we kind of predicted, and I'm kind of happy with that. It means we're doing something good. I am so happy. So if you guys took the points off Miami, you guys got your money's worth because Miami covered absolutely all of it. First, we'll take a look at the two guys that started this game completely by themselves: Fernando Mendoza and Carson Beck. So Fernando Mendoza opens up. In my opinion, it doesn't matter if he has a bad day or whatever. He's willing to do anything to make his team win, and we saw that. Very simply. Simply put, if you want to make a movie poster, go watch that fourth down run by Fernando Mendoza into the end zone. That's a movie poster right there and waiting to happen. The equivalent to never mind, I'm not gonna make that reference anymore. But yeah, Carson Beck throws that game heartbreaking interception, seals the deal. And I was waiting for it. If you watched a live stream with me, we were waiting for it to happen. I was just waiting and waiting for it to happen. I knew it was going to happen at some point, and boom, of course, the last play game. So, so let's go over some of the keys that we did. We predicted. Also, can I just say I'm so glad that this was a good game. I would have liked a blowout, but just because it would add more narrative to Kirk's and Eddie. But I just think even if it was a close game, the fact that Indiana had to come from behind. Hold on. Huh? Hold on. All right. They are. Sure. All right, let me see. They're going full course. Okay. So we got the keys to the game. So we predicted. We got 3 key stuff that we predicted. One of them was get aggressive. That was a given. We got that one correct. We got they would be having the exact same rushing yards. We got that one. Why are we not in focus? Focus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a new webcam at some point. Hooray! So, let me just double paper, a lot of paper. Same amount of rushing yards. And honestly, I've got nothing to say. Congratulations. What a season. The reason I wanted to talk about look, having a couple of days to think about it, it was Monday, having a couple of days to sort of calm down, I realized that we just witnessed probably one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. Why are we not in focus? Not in focus. Why are we not sitting there? We witnessed one of the greatest comebacks. Not only the greatest turnarounds, probably the even better of a turnaround than Tulane. That's right, the Tulane turnaround. Remember that one when they went 2-12, and then they went 12-2, still made a bowl game. The Cotton Bowl. That's right, the Cotton Bowl. And the fact of the matter is, holy shit. I've never seen a team go from 400 from the worst to the best. Kirk's an Eddie man. He's Nick Saban. He's a modern day Nick Saban, and I like that. So congratulations to Indiana. We are all rooting for you. Fernando Mendoza, you're going to make the Raiders look like the best team in the NFL. I guarantee you. And they'll finally have a quarterback. As for Miami, it's just this one you ran into a brick wall at this point, and you were kind of held with. You kind of had to change. You were chained to Carson Beck, and that limited your offensive power because you were scared of letting Carson Beck swing the ball like Fernando Mendoza was, and that ended up being the difference in this game was who had the more explosive offense, and that was Indiana. Despite the pressures and sacks, they were the more powerful offense because they trusted Fernando Mendoza to do all the work. And with Miami, since you don't want to take the risk of Carson Beck throwing an interception at any point in the game, they were just hand off the middle, hand up the middle, hand up the middle. Oh, slant run, hand up the middle. And just it was so predictable, and you could even see it in the formation. Like, oh, here they go, right up the middle. And it's just, you gotta, in those big moments, you gotta let your quarterback that got you there take over the wheel. And they just never felt comfortable. And that would end up being probably that truth came out very, very heartbreakingly for them as Carson Beck, of course, threw that game-ending interception. It is what it is. What a national championship. I couldn't have asked for a better ribbon on this season. We'll see Indiana and Miami next year. We're going to see how well they can do on a playoff run. Hey, while I'm getting my next paper ready, let me just remind you guys to make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We do free college football all year round. The off season is going to be a bit different because I might be doing some other sports with this on this channel. So now that I don't have to worry about college football, so be on the lookout for that. Also, we are going to be diving into some of the more controversial stuff with the transfer portal. We got to upload it. I'm going to do a bunch. We have a bunch of stuff coming out with the transfer portal and all that. We're going to talk about what each team did this year and all that. We'll get to all that and what it means for the future. But just make sure you are subscribed. I know you may think you are, but just make sure you go down and check below and see if you are subscribed, and we'll have a fun time here. All right, back to the show. So let's move on from you. Let's talk about my preseason now. All right, I'm gonna go drink. All right, I'll have a quick drink. Here's my way too early prediction. We're gonna go 20. We're gonna go honorable mentions and then we top 20. So my honorable mentions at 28, I have Oklahoma State, which I feel like if you give them enough time, they can certainly make a deep run now that they don't have Mike Gundy. That's all I gotta say for them. They're just there for placeholder purposes because we have no idea what the Sun Belt or ACC or American's doing at the moment, except for Duke. No, except for Miami and Duke. Wink Wink, wink. Number 27, I have Georgia State. I mean, they last year they would have made it to the playoffs had they not lost to what's the, I think it was California Cal. If they not, I think it was Cal. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, they lost a game and that ended their chances of making it to the championship, which in turn made their chances of making the playoffs virtually impossible. I have them sort of finishing in the top 25. I mean, near the top 30, but I don't think they're going to make a deep run. You don't have Haynes King, and you're still trying to figure out your offense, and you just better hope that your transfer portal are bangers. 20. I've grouped 26, 25, and 24 together because I feel like they're the most unpredictable, but we have some insight from the past. Navy. Navy was right there. They were one win away from going to a national to go into the playoffs as a group of 5 representative. And then they got beaten by Tulane. Not just Tulane, but they got beat by they got beat by other teams as well. And of course, had that beautiful and finally, for the first time ever, that win over Army in the Army Navy game. Beautiful game, really. But the reason I have Navy and Kentucky in Florida is because Kentucky is my top. I think they're good. They're 25 for a reason. I think if they get the right momentum, they can make a push for it and wait on in the season. And then Florida, I mean, in the past we saw last year what happened with them, but I think John Summerall is going to make sure that Florida team is going to be a lot better. So I have them at 24. So 22, 23, 22 21, sorry. You can all group together. UCF, Arizona State, JMU. These are teams that I last year could have made the playoffs, but couldn't. One of them did make the playoffs this year. You know what happened to the rest. So I think Arizona State, I mean, you don't have Sam Leavitt with you, but you do have that. You do have your head coach you have your offensive coordinator and head coach. You have most of the team coming back for their senior year, I believe. And so you should be good on there. You could this could be your chance to go take care of business and finally get to the playoffs again. And USF is just one of those teams, like sort of like Georgia State, Navy, Florida, and just anyone in the American is like in the ACC. Sorry, is it American or ACC? I think it's American. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's the ACC, correct me. But in the American year, it takes is one loss and you're done. So I think if you give them a chance, even though they don't have John Summerall, I think they can get the job done. In JMU, I mean, Kirk Cinetti got an Indiana to a national title. Do you think he might have put someone else in his place? Let's see. Can't wait to see that star quarterback power come to light. We'll see. All right, let's go to the top 20. So some of these are going to be kind of self-explanatory, but some of these may be a bit controversial. So let's get that out of the way. So at number 20, I have Auburn, which Auburn last year went abysmal 6-6. No, sorry, it's 4-6, I believe. And they had some very, very devastating losses. Of course, they had the devastating loss in the Iron Bowl against Alabama. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Mississippi State. They lost to Texas. Not Texas, sorry. They lost to did they play in the bowl? I'm sure I'm missing someone, but they just did not do very well. But with Deuce Knight and not Josh Heupel, what's his name? I keep forgetting his coach. Give me a minute. Think about it. But Deuce Knight, I think is going to be an awesome pick. He's going to definitely help out. And you're just going to move on for Jackson. I just think you're going to do a lot better with your new head coach, but the schedule is going to be a lot tougher. So maybe you go 7-6 or 6-7. But you still miss out on a bowl game, I think, but you at least get back. You at least get back to what you should be, and maybe you get that win over Alabama this year. We'll see. I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I've seen others have the South Carolina a bit higher, but I'm gonna have them at 19. Look. You're gonna get Lenore Sellers back. So that's a positive right there. Sorry, had a bit of a thing in my brain going. South Carolina, I think Lenore Sellers coming back is gonna help. You're gonna get some of your offensive line back, but it's probably gonna be a rebuild year, and you do have probably one of the toughest schedules, I think, besides like Oklahoma and stuff. I mean, you have to face Oklahoma and Alabama, A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn. You do have to face a lot of good teams. So I think it's going to be very hard for them. But I think if they get the right recipe, those rankings, they could jump up real quick. Tulane, I have them as my group of 5 representative, which I think they go even without their most of their star power from last year. I think they're a really good team. And hey, they made it to the playoffs last year, so I think that they can make a run for it. Vanderbilt, and Arizona are grouped together because on one hand you don't have Diego Pavia. God bless the man. Hope you'll find something besides roasting people. But you also have Clark Lee. I'm sure he's got his quarterback, as it looks like, and he's got most of his offensive talent still there because they're not transferring. They didn't transfer. So I think that with those two coming, like sort of retaining what they had last year, they can make the necessary adjustments and move on. Now, Alabama is not going to be mentioned today because we don't really know what's going. There's a lot of stuff surrounding Alabama, and we don't know the full picture. But I just don't know, and I don't. Now I know they don't. I know their schedule's a bit more favorable, but I just don't know exactly who they are at the moment because we don't. They don't have a star quarterback at the moment. Well, I think they do, but we don't know anything about that. We need. I think we're gonna beat Alabama as like a 15 for a reason because I think they'll go probably 9-3 and just miss out. Miami, look, Carson Beck's gone. He's declared for the NFL. You can't play again. He's done. Ruben Bain, you're gonna lose Ruben Bain. You're gonna lose some of these star players, and I think that Mario Cristobal, he's gonna have a setback year, and he may not make it to the playoffs. So I have him going 14. And this is kind of funny that even in the preseason rankings. Anyways, BYU and Texas Tech. I have BYU winning the Big Ten and becoming the Big Ten, the representative from the Big Ten. Winning the Big 12 and over Texas Tech. And I think Texas Tech's gonna have a setback year because that offense got exposed real good against Oregon. BYU, Brigham Young. I think he's coming back. That's all I need to say about them. They're going to be a scrappy underdog, and I'd keep an eye on them. Their schedules are a lot more favorable because they don't have to play Texas Tech twice, and they probably will have to face Tech. They don't face Texas Tech at all, And so that means if Texas makes it a championship, you get the idea. And I'm sure they'll be a lot more ready for Texas Tech next year. So, anywho, number 11, I don't feel good about doing this, but I've been proven wrong by Indiana. So, number 11, Penn State, going 11-2. Going 10-3. I'm going to move on for that one. Number 10, just the top 10, you have Ole Miss, I think, is going to have a really bad setback because, again, Trinidad Chandler is done. He's probably most likely not going to get his waiver filled out unless he gets that injunction or whatever it is that he needs. And so I think he's done, and you're still going to say you need a new quarterback. Brian Dayball, I think. I keep forgetting his coach's name, but you know who I'm talking about. He's gonna have to nail this transfer portal because LSU took most of the talent, and Lane Kiffin is still a snake of the SEC. I think their schedule is favorable, but it's still gonna be a challenge. They still have Mississippi State. They still have to play Oklahoma. They do have to play Georgia. So we'll see. Some of those are interesting, but yeah. All right, number 9, look, if you want to know a team that I put full confidence to go with same record as they did last year, look no further than number 9, Texas A&M. Marcel Reed's coming back, and I think the schedule you get is going to really show the SEC in the world that you belong. You have Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Florida, Auburn. And of course, you're one out of conference, so you have some good quality teams to go fight with. Alrighty, this is no shocker, but I have Georgia having a little bit of a setback year. Kirby Smart, this makes you kind of wonder what would have happened had you not run into a pissed off Ole Miss. So, Kirby Smart, rebuilding year. That's why I'm number 8. Number 7, LSU. Lane Kiffin. Holy shit, he has stacked his team up in the portal. He's the portal king for a reason. And I have him at number 7 because I have him going 10-2 and getting host a playoff game in Baton Rouge. In Death Valley. That would be awesome. Number 6. Who would have guessed this team did not make it at least this high in the rankings? Unfortunately, I can't play a bias. I still have to go off of a data analyst first. Number 6, you have the one and only hard-to-kill team, Oklahoma. I have them going 11. Get this. I have them going 11-1. That's right. I have them going 11-1. I know I didn't put up the schedules for the other teams, but I wanted to show you why. Because there's a certain reason I did not. We go look at their schedule. Let's pull up their schedule. Let's pull up their schedule real quick. Let's pull up their schedule real quick, and we'll talk about it. Alright, look at this. If you wanted to know something where I have it going on, let me read you them off. UTEP, you have hosting UTEP at Michigan, home against New Mexico, at Athens, Cotton Bowl, Kentucky, at home against Kentucky, on the road at Mississippi State, home game against South Carolina, at Florida versus Ole Miss versus A&M, and on the road at Missouri. Basically, 4 of those games are flips from last year. Instead of hosting Missouri, Instead of hosting Missouri, you're going on the road to Missouri. Instead of going on the road to go face South Carolina, they're coming to your house. And instead of hosting Michigan, now you're going to go on the road to Ann Arbor and play Michigan. But it's sort of the same schedule as before. There's just a couple of differences. Texas and Georgia. Georgia, Texas, Florida, Ole Miss, A&M. So the reason I'm going with one is I have them winning against UTEP. Oh, I forgot. I even put this up on the screen here. My apologies. So I have Oklahoma going at UTEP. I have them winning against UTEP, Michigan, New Mexico 3-0. I have them beating Georgia. I know it's crazy, but it could change. But since I have Oklahoma at 6 and Georgia at 7, that would mean Georgia goes 10-2. That other loss would be to Oklahoma. I have them winning Red River. Okay, so hear me out. Since 5 years, I have them winning Red River since 3 years ago. And yeah. I have them winning Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina, winning against Florida. I have them losing to Ole Miss, so there's that one loss. And I have them winning against A&M, and then I have them winning against Missouri, going 11-1 and getting a sixth round, and missing out on the byes, missing out with Oregon on the byes, but you still get a home playoff game nonetheless. So I would say that's a fair trade-off. But yeah, brutal gauntlet. I have them at number 6. At number 5, I've got Oregon going 11-1, finishing the record with going 12-1 to end the season. Which is what, because I have them losing to Ohio State and Indiana, but beating Penn State and Notre Dame. They get to host the playoff game as well. At number 4, this is where one of the controversy begin. Texas, I have not felt good about for a while, but I'm going to trust that Arch Manning comes back better. Steve Sarkisian is going to be wanting some revenge, which makes Red River even more funny. And I have them going 11, and I'm going 13-0 in the conference, and I'm having going 14-1 in the season. Their only loss was to Oklahoma, and since they have the better record, better strength of schedule than Oklahoma, they go to number 4, and I think they will sneak past Oregon with a 14-1 record and take that fourth round bye. And the final 3 are no surprise at all. One of these you can just say is a lock. Number 3, Notre Dame. Sorry. Those are sneezes of fuck you, ACC and playoff committee. Fuck you. Notre Dame gets one of the softest schedules again. And this time they have no excuse. It's so soft. They only have to play one quality team. Everything else is a cupcakes. Yeah. If they don't make the playoffs, there's going to be something. They're just. Ohio State and Indiana. I have Ohio State losing to Indiana in the Big Ten championship, and then Indiana goes 15-1. I have Indiana going 16-0 again. Sorry, 15-1 again, and their only loss comes to Ohio State in the regular season, and that is your preseason rankings. So a lot to come. We're gonna see it. So I want to talk about short episode. See you tomorrow on the show. We're gonna have a lot of stuff here tomorrow. We're gonna talk all about it. And that's all I want to say. Farewell. As always, I'm Alex. Love college football. And we'll see you tomorrow on the show. Good night, everyone.